5 people find themselves in an industrial room with chains around their necks and buckets on their heads, and on the other side is a wall loaded with rotating saws. Then a gravelly voice informs them that he requires them to give up some of their blood. Anna figures out first that he said any amount of blood. Cutting herself lightly on the saw, and her bucket comes loose, winning the first test. The others follow her example with varying degrees of success, except for the last man who had still been passed out when the game started. The remaining players next find themselves in a large farmhouse or barn. We find out that Carla, out of desperation, used to steal purses and one time led to a woman dying as Carla had stolen her medicine. She returned back to see the woman in pain, but she decided to flee instead, and the whole thing only netted her a measly $3. We learn that Carla has been injected with a poison and is now presented with 3 needles, one of which has the antidote and another which has hydrofluoric acid which will kill her. The timer starts and the chains around everyone's neck starts to pull them towards the ceiling. Ryan desperately tries to get Carla to inject the needles. He jams all 3 needles into her, freeing them from their chains. But of course, one of those needles has the acid in it, and Carla is melted away. Next to be tested is Mitch. Mitch sold Kramer's nephew a bike which Mitch said to be in good working order, but soon after his nephew drove it off, it malfunctioned, crashing and killing his nephew. He gets to face the coolest trap in the film, the blender, and Jigsaw even used parts of that crashed bike to make up the trap's construction. Mitch has to reach down through the rotating death blades to turn the throttle off and is given momentary help from Anna, who jams a pole into the bike above, stopping the blades. But eventually it gets loose, starting the blades back up and pureeing Mitch. Now down to the final 2. Anna nearly makes it outside, but is caught by a person in a pig mask and the 2 wake up, chained in another room. And in the room with them is John Kramer himself. He's here to give them their final test, placing a shotgun in the room and telling them they've been doing everything backwards in their lives. After Kramer leaves, Anna picks up the shotgun and fires, but the bullet goes back at her. Ryan then realizes what Kramer meant by saying they were doing it backwards, that the gun would backfire on whoever shot it. And inside of the shell he discovers broken keys. It turns out the game we've been watching throughout the movie actually occurred in the past and is the aforementioned original game led by John before Saw 1. The whole plot takes place in the past while the police investigation is occurring now, 10 years after Kramer's death, and once Halloran and Logan make it to the farmhouse location, they get captured by a mysterious figure. Rotting away after both wind up trapped in laser collars, the trap activates and Logan dies. The trap activates again and Halloran starts begging for his life. His begging works as the lasers stop, but he realizes that Logan is not dead after all. Logan gets up and reveals himself to be the new Jigsaw killer. It turns out that he was a victim of the first game at the farm and was the one in the bucket head who appeared to be killed by the wall of saws. And Logan's game this time, it seems, was designed to trap Halloran and frame him for the new murders. Halloran is chopped up by the laser collar. And with that, Logan has completed his plan and lives on to be the next Jigsaw killer.